What's up YouTube? This is ChroahCresta. We have here Atlantean Heroes. This deck has proven itself many times. I love this deck, and the combos and plays it has are just insane. Zero. The entire deck is zero. This deck busts out zero easily, easier than any other deck in the world, because you have 6 ways of making it, and you have 7 ways of searching out one of the 3 ways to make it. Zero. You will have 1-0 on the field at all times. And to make 0 requires almost little to no resources. Meanwhile, your opponent has to waste resources plus getting nuked in order to get rid of them, only to have your next turn make another 0. And then 0 has his buddy, Gungnir. Gungnir will be brought out by Debris and King of Swamp, and to bust him out, to power 0 up to 3000. And Gungnir ditches Atlanteans. When Atlantean is dumped by Gungnir, you get an extra pop, because when they get ditched by a Water Monster's effect, they get their effects triggered. You can pop either a set, or you can pop a face-up card. So after Gungnir gets 2 destructions, you get 2 more destructions on top of that, clear the entire field, attack directly for 25 and 3000. Anyway, moving on. Card choices I chose. Stratos is obvious in a hero deck. Ice Edge is insane in his deck. He is a walking time bomb, which nobody wants to get set off. You summon Ice Edge and you ditch an Atlantean. When an Atlantean is ditched, they get their effects off because you're resolving a Water Monster's effect. So you pop 1 back row, or you pop a scary monster. Then you use Ice Edge's effect to attack directly to pop another back row. And then once your back row is all cleared off, you have Miracle to make a 0. So once you have no back row to stop your 0 plays, no Bombless, no Compulse, nothing like that, you Miracle, make a 0. And then they're scared out of their ass. And then Ice Edge, the reason I commented the Time Bomb is because if they know you're playing Atlantean Heroes, they cannot let him survive. They will Torrential, they will Warning him, they will Judgment him, because you're either gonna... They don't know if you're gonna pop a back row or you're gonna pop a monster, because Ice Edge is so good. And then even if they get rid of him, you have Miracle to make a 0. You wasted their back row, just what Ice Edge's own purpose is. So Ice Edge is insanely scary in this deck. Plus with Salvage, it's even more frightening. I'll get to that later though. Bubman is here for Exceed plays, and because you can salvage him. Diva's only purpose in life is to become a monster that's a Foolish Burial. Basically a Foolish Burial in monster form. You would get Armorsman to make a Gashi, or you would get a Marksman to make a Catastor, and your graveyard is loaded for salvage fodder, or for miracle fodder. And Diva's water. Go figure, right? So, cool combo I love doing with Diva is you summon Diva, and then you get Marksman. Marksman attacks directly. Direct attacks are insanely consistent in this deck because 0 exists, and Ice Edge is there to get rid of their back row. Anyway, Marksman attack, and then you special summon Armsman from the deck. Then you would poly a hero and Marksman to make a 0, and you would overlay Diva and Armsman to make a Gachi. So you have a Gachi on the field and a 0 at 2900. 2900 0. So 0 is even harder to get over, and if they do, they get nuked. And Gachi's there chilling to make your future plays even bigger. And guess what? The math says you only used 1 Diva, 1 Poly, and 1 Hero to make a Gachi and a 0. And then you load your graveyard of Armsman and Marksman for salvage play. Insane! Armsman is awesome in this deck. I love him. Marksman is good. He pops set cards. And also does that play I just told you about. Debris Dragon's only purpose in life, really, is to get King of Swamp to make Gungnir. That's it. You can get another water, like you can get Armsman on the field or Diva on the field, and then you would poly the water and a hero to make a 0, then you special Bubman to make a Utopia. So you have Utopia and a 0 on the field on board. And then after you set everything, you will set salvage, you do that, then you flip salvage, you get your hand presence back. It's amazing. King of the Swamp is King of the Swamp. He's a spell, and he's a water. You would ditch him to get Poly, and then he himself is water for 0. So even if you already have Poly in your hand, you would make 0. And then you would Miracle away to make more power. And then the combo I love doing is ditch King of Swamp, get Poly, summon Debris, get King, make Gungnir, ditch the Poly that you just searched out for, and Atlantean to get insane pops. So for 2 cards, you just have a Gungnir, and you have 3 destruction cards. I mean, 3 destructions right there. Tour Guide's only purpose in life is to get Sangan. That's it. And then when Sangan dies, you get King of Swamp. There you go, you have your engine. If you already have King of Swamp, you get Debris. There you go, you have your Gungnir engine right there. If you have a handful of Atlanteans, get Ice Edge. Do some popping with Atlanteans in your hand. But yeah, Tour Guide, you don't exceed with her. You don't. She's not here for exceeding. If you already have Sangan on board, like all active and stuff, you summon Tour Guide to get Tour Guide to make Zen mains for a wall. And then if you Miracle Stratos away, you can make Levier. But even then, that play is not that great unless you have like another Poly in hand for more shenanigans. And then you have Treeborn. Treeborn, he's not a win condition. He's like more of a win more card. But you would Poly him and a hero away to get Treeborn in your graveyard. And then next turn, you would bring him back to make your 0 into a 3k beater. And then your future Poly plays from there on doesn't minus you as much, because you have Treeborn there for continuous Poly fodder. Gores is Gores. Triple Poly shows in this deck the best of any deck in the world, I believe. Polymerization shows his insane true potential, his full power in this deck, because you abuse it so much. I mean, it's so abusable that Fusion Recovery is, like, I play it in this deck. I'm thinking about bumping Fusion Recovery to 2, because it's so good. You can Poly Stratos and the hero you just searched out for a 0. Then you Fusion Recovery, bring back your Stratos and Polymerization for more plus plays in the future. Salvage is insane in this deck. It is insanely broken in this deck. It becomes everything. You can get back Ice Edge and Atlantean. Salvage became a walking MST. Summon Ice Edge, get back the Marksman or Armsman, ditch it, pop anything you want. You can choose what to pop. It becomes a smashing ground. I mean, it becomes a targeting, smashing, and MST because of Ice Edge and any Atlantean you bring back to your hand. Even after that, after you made your walking MST smashing, you become attack directly MST. So Salvage, insane plays. If you have 2 Bubblemen in your graveyard, get both of them back to your hand. Summon one normal summon Bubbleman, special the other Bubbleman, exceed. Or it could become a Catastor, or become another Foolish Burial play, or another Gachi. No, Diva. Oh, I shouldn't be saying or. I should be saying and or, because you get back that, and you get back whatever. And then you could get like an Armorson or Marksman too, to make more insane popping pluses with Gungnir. Or you can get back King of Swamp to become another fusion fodder, or to basically salvage back your polymerization from your hand to make, to make more future plays. Or you can get back a water and a hero to make Poly to make a 0. So use 2 cards, use Poly and Salvage to make a 0. It's so good. Salvage is insane in this deck. I can't stress enough how much Salvage pluses off just being Salvage. I mean, Poly is sure it's a -2, but you get out 0, and then you insane plus. 0 is a walking +1, 2, or 3. That's a Raigeki. And I mean, Salvage is so good. I can't stress how much I love Salvage. Miracle is 0 fodder. Miracle makes 0. And you have Rhoda, and in your staples, Alvarez, you load your graveyard up insanely quickly. And then you would bring back your normal summoners back into your deck. And then you would recycle your 0s for even more insane 0 spamming. And this deck, it pluses so well. And the thing I love most about this deck is that the hand presence is so good. If you play a deck right, you're always going to have 5 or 6 cards in your hand. You would never have anything less unless you're pushing for game. you're swarming the field with 3 zeros and a Gungnir. I've done it before. It's possible. But the hand presence in this deck is insane because everything you're doing is a +1 at least. Stratos is a +1. Diva is a plus. You don't need to go out of your way to make your opponent lose their advantage. Debris is good. Tour Guide is hand presence with Sangan. And then you don't even need to use very much resources to make 0 because Treeborn is there. And then you have Salvage to get even more pluses back, and you have Fusion Recovery to get more of your hand back. You're always going to have 5 or 6 cards in hand, plus a 0 or a Gungnir or what have you. If you're doing it right, it's good. CHROAH helps for Sangan plays. You would summon Tour Guide, get out Sangan, then you poly Sangan and a hero for an CHROAH, and then you would search out King of Swamp to replace that poly you just used, or to get your Debris Dragon if you already have another poly in hand and a King of Swamp in your graveyard. So it searches out your secondary engine right there. It's so quick. So Tour Guide and poly becomes a 1000 beater and a 25 beater that you just searched out your entire deck with for insane consistency. Tornado because you play Debris, Shining because you play Light Exceeds and a Gore's token you can use with. And then I've explained pretty much everything. Everything else in the deck's explainable. Gungnir is insane in his deck because you can ditch Atlanteans to pop with this effect and to Atlantean pop things. So this is the deck, guys. Overall, I would rate Atlanteans a solid 8.5 out of 10. I love this deck. Try it out. This is just a skeleton. You're welcome to change it up as much as you like. But this is the build right here that I feel that I love the best. So play a deck, wreck with it, do me proud. This is ChroahCresta, signing out.